All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV, where tonight we have playoff race number 1 of 4, and we are kicking it off tonight here at iRacing Superspeedway. Drivers at the moment already getting on track, getting those qualifying laps underway to see where they will start this evening tonight. And you will see a couple cars in the running order that are not in the race. For whatever reason, Brendan and I both were not able to spectate the session normally, so we had to join as a driver, and unfortunately it's going to look a little off, but just know that we're there in spirit but not actually on the track. So again, hope you're all having a wonderful evening and a very happy Easter. So we've got, again, 75 laps in schedule for tonight, and as always, one fast pair, 2 green-white checkered attempts should they need them, and it'll be a lot of fun here. Fuel windows somewhere in that 19-lap range, which is exactly what the drivers need, because it is going to be about 19 laps to make it on a 3-stop race, so it should be pretty much right on the number. So we'll keep an eye on that, of course, as we go. And the other part, of course, that are probably wondering, who are those championship 12 drivers? Here you go. They are going to be, as I say, again, this is just no random order, or just full random order. Doesn't actually matter for where they were, but it's going to be Gabe Butler, Seth Groover, Patrick Groover, Nick Wing, Ryan Decker, Kevin Hash, Dale Rapp, Jacob Lee, Ray Rittenauer, Dean Wilkinson, Josh Hybaugh, and Eric Laurie will be the 12 drivers, and they all reset right at that 1,000 point mark. No bonus points, anything like that. Just start heads up here for these final 4 races. And so, yeah, right now we're getting all this thing squared away. And also a big thank you once more to my good friend Peter DeBorgia. As you'll see, once we get to the timing and scoring, you'll easily be able to find those playoff drivers, as they will be highlighted in green. So you'll have an easy way of verifying which one those guys are. So again, big thank you for Peter to helping me get that all set up. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun here tonight. And looking forward to see what these guys have, as we just got about 30 seconds to go. Qualifying laps still continuing on as we go. All right, still got a little bit of time left in qualifying. Looks like we've got about 15 of the drivers that have put a lap down. And I'm trying to see total number of drivers currently registered. I'm showing about 21 drivers, it looks like, officially maybe actually part of the race. Again, I think it's going to show 23 due to myself and Brandon having some difficulties getting things to cooperate to spectate correctly. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, like I mentioned, tonight, the first race of the playoffs, and that's going to pretty much start to kick it off, because Thursday night we'll be right back here to kick off the final 4 races over there in the Superspeedway Truck Series, and I will be covering that one on Thursday night for Boomer. So he's got some real life stuff going on. He's going to be driving all over the place, and he'll be far away. So we'll miss him. I know you all miss him more than I do, because I know he's the better announcer. Just keep it between us, though. Don't let him know. But yeah, so no, and then not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday will be the Indy finale at Auto Club Speedway. Championship's been clinched, but all those drivers now, they're just all going to be vying for the win of that race. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see who's going to be able to come out on top for that one there. And then from there on, we'll have a little bit of an off season, probably do some fun races, some recruiting races. Again, going to be some schedule changes. I believe the Thursday night series is going to be switching over to Friday nights. So definitely look for the schedule change there on Green White Checker TV. So I'll say there'll be a lot of changes. I also have a lot of little fun things that I'm planning on adding for next season on the broadcast side of things. Nothing too crazy, because that's probably above my pay grade. But yeah, it'll be great to have a few new little features here and there to try to just help things out and get a little bit extra love to some of our sponsors and great supporters we've had over the years. So with that, though, qualifying has just completed, and we're going to pull it up as we speak, and it is going to be Ray Rittenauer on pole position by 0.05 of a second over Gabe Butler. Another 4 thousandths back is Kevin Hash, there third. Then you got Todd Merkel, Dude Conrad in the top 5, followed by Eric Laurie in 6th, Patrick Groover, Mike Allen in row number 4, Joshua Highbaugh, Nick Wing, row 5. Then you got Jacob Lee and Dean Wilkinson there, 11th and 12th positions. Continuing down the order, you now have Dale Rapp there, 13th, Jack Walls, 14th, Anthony Lane, Robert Amaral there, 15th and 16th. And then Frank Ranger Jr. Lasta just put down a quick qualifying lap there in 17th. Again, I think he just tried to get on track, make sure everything was working. Because they definitely, obviously, pace not the issue there for Frank. I think he was just trying to make sure he got a lap on the board. Just, again, you want to shake down all your equipment if you jump in the server late. So he was trying to make sure he had some of the iRacing updates to do. And then you got Ryan Decker there in 18th. That's me. I'm not racing, 19th. Seth Groover, 20th. Quabi Brooks, 21st. And then Bud Steele there in 22nd. And then Brandon, just like myself, not racing tonight. So indeed, 21 formal drivers in the field here this evening. And we'll see what these guys have in store for us tonight.
Gael, I'm pretty excited to kick this first race off. I don't know about you, but with the Thursday night series, they gave us a real exciting finish here. I'm ready to see what this one brings.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. And as I say, it's a great start for Ray Rittenauer. He's going to put that car on pole position tonight. Again, I'm looking at the timing and scoring, and I see a lot of green in that group, Brandon. So I say you got the top 3 playoff drivers, and then you go to 6th place and 7th place as well, top 10 there, 9th and 10th as well. So a bunch of them taking over those spots. So, and again, I mean, we know at these tracks, it doesn't matter where you qualify. You can work your way up. It's all about strategy. And do you want to be up front pushing early? Do you want to roll back and just take it easy and then make the moves late? So there's a lot of strategies to go. But also, before we get things fully underway, of course, got to give some love over to my dad to say, not doing quite 100%, but I think he's spying on us on his phone and watching the race. So say, hate that you're missing this one, Papa, but definitely glad that you're doing better, and saying looking forward to seeing you back on track here, hopefully by Thursday. But yeah, so definitely, as you know, always thinking about you, but looking forward to seeing these guys put on a good show for you.
Yeah, hope you get to feeling better soon, Jim. Had a great finish on Thursday with the trucks, and you brought up Boom, and he filled in. Actually, speaking about filling in, he was in the booth the last time we brought these cars here. Gael, it was really, we had a lot of bumps going wrong by teammates, kept the race really exciting all the way down to the end. So it's going to be interesting to see if they got that figured out and got the shoves in place.
Yeah, and that's the big thing at this track is obviously down the straightaways, lock on. You can probably make some good pushes there. You get that great momentum. But once you get to those turns, again, the way this track is, I mean, again, I'm sure it's a broken record for me, but I call it a Dover on steroids. You drop into the turns and you just leap out of them. And to me, this is probably one of the hardest tracks to kind of nail your entry on. Just because, again, if you're 3rd, 4th, 5th position on the inside row, you're kind of blind going in. And then if you're on the outside lane, same thing. You have to worry about that guy next to you. Is he going to be able to react in time? But we're about to find out, because it's going to be Ray Rittenauer, Gabe Butler leading that field to the green. And here they go. You see the noses pop up. They're good and through the gears here. 75 laps, playoff race number 1 at iRacing Superspeedway.
Yeah, I got a nice good start there by the 88 and the 2 on the outside, really being able to hang with that inside line as they pull away from the 071. It didn't take long. We're in turn 1, and we already got 3 wide racing, IL.
Oh, they're going to waste no time there. That said, though, the one that's poking on the 3rd lane, again, we've talked about Dean a lot. He's one that I used to always talk about, just rolls in the back, plays it safe, and then makes his move later. But we've noticed lately he's been one to charge early on in these races. So, yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on the 55, see what he does, see if he tries to make his way forward pretty early on. But right now you've got some pretty good cooperation there between that 03 and the 87. And that's not a surprise. Watch for Kevin Hash, Ray Rittenauer. They will stay very dedicated to each other. Now you got another teammate there locked on together there with Dude Conrad and Gabe Butler. And then I see the first of the Groover brothers. As I said, there goes Gabe. He's going to pop out in front of Todd Merkel. Todd, of course, going to give a great push to that 88 as they head down the front here, now starting to get fully up to speed.
Yeah, I think these guys are really just getting in here, filling out the car, really seeing how bad, like you brought up, the bump is going to be. It really plays a big factor. I spied on a few guys getting into practice as they were running in groups. and some guys were steering into the corner, and some guys was just trying to keep the wheel as straight as possible, and you could really start to see the group separate. So I think we'll know right away who's steering into the bump and being aggressive, and guys that's riding.
Yeah, and like you said too, and it's going to be that balance. Like I said, you have to make sure. Look at Dean there, big move, just sneaks in front of that 101 there of Joshua Highball. But yeah, right now these guys again just trying to get themselves situated. Again, like you said, there's going to be the strategy calls. Do you kind of save early, maybe try to run that extra lap, or maybe even just save that little bit extra where maybe that pit stop you don't have to put as much fuel in as well. So there's a lot of potentials for how you want to run this race here. But right now you can see the Groovers, they're a little split up there. You see the Patrick and the 54 on the inside lane, a little further back the 32 on the outside lane. So we'll see if they find a way to get hooked up to each other at some point in this race. You kind of feel like it's inevitable. But yeah, right now the last time by it was actually Seth that's gained the most places. He's up 12 spots. But right behind him doing the same, that number 6 of Bud Steele. He's climbing the ladder. Oh, that's a big move by Seth. They're squeezing inside Eric Laurie. Eric had to react, and you saw also that on the outside, I believe that was Mike Allen in that Sundrop car, had to also react, and that was very, very close there to 3 and 4.
Yeah, these guys, it don't matter to a lot of these guys right now that it's playoffs. These guys know they got a fast repair in their pocket, and they're giving us a very, very good race. They already made some very close calls and kept us on our toes already.
Yeah, and I mentioned the Groovers, and they have found each other now. They're lined up on the inside lane there, the 32 and the 54. So we'll keep an eye on them. But right now, Eric Laurie's running that third lane. And this is where things start to get a little tight for me, because again, the inside lane's got to react to middle lane's got to react to the inside lane. Third lane's got to react to that middle lane as well. So you can see Eric just giving a ton of space there. Too early to really squeeze those guys. Then you see Mike Allen. He's given plenty of room for Eric. But I think Eric said, I'm not ready for this. I'm going to roll back a little bit. So he's actually going to lose his teammate here, Gabe Butler. He's going to go kind of on his own strategy, it looks like, Brandon, and just kind of play it out and kind of pace himself, it looks like, here early.
Yeah, and I think that's a good, smart move. I mean, do we rarely ever see this with this amount of mini cars, go green the whole way? So speaking of Eric, taking that move and dropping to the back and getting back there, getting inside, in my eyes, a safe spot. These guys are really pushing it hard up front, and the last thing you want to do is run out of fast repairs around lap 75, because we know it can really pick up and really mix some things up here.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things we always talk about. I mean, you got to put yourself in position, and then you try to make the move at the end. So, but again, we talked about the playoffs a lot already, but what we got to talk about is there's going to be guys not going for the playoffs. They just want to win a race. And just because, one, it's always fun to win, and two, the more points you get, that's going to take away points from your competition for maybe a teammate. So right now, top 2 spots, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele. Bud is on a charge. He's been up about 20 spots from where he started. For a moment was in those top 2 positions. Now he's fallen just a little bit back. But you can see right there, Dean Wilkinson, he's found him. He said, yep, let me get over to you. I'm going to give you a nice shove here down the back.
Yeah, running really good and being aggressive. I mean, we speak about it over and over and over, and the drivers that are in the interviews at the end, they speak about it being aggressive, and if you can't be in it, be up there to help your teammates be in it and help do whatever you can to be a good teammate and get them. We got a very right there. The Gabe seeing that second lane moving. I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna get up here and be in front of this one, or maybe just letting the 2 cool off, but making those moves, as you see right there, get right back down as they head into the corner.
We saw right there, and there is a reason why sometimes we always talk about it. Sometimes it looks terrifying, especially from the TV angle. Or we always talk about it too, where the drivers make that really aggressive, abrupt move to change lanes. And that's not really to cut the driver off. It's because if you move down slowly, that driver behind you, like in this case for the 8 car, Dude Conrad, he's just locked onto the bumper of Bud Steele. And so there's a good chance if he's not aware of that, all he's watching is that Navy bumper in front of him. So he sees Bud move down, he's going to start moving down as well, again, just by instinct, by habit. And we've definitely seen that at times where the driver's going to kind of slide right across into the door of another guy. It is getting spicy though up front here. They're going back 3 wide here. Looks like you got Jacob Lee pushing, I believe that's Patrick Groover on the outside lane there, trying to move their way back forward. Oh, I'm sorry, it's Seth Groover, I apologize.
Yeah, and I think why you see it a lot more in these cars is just because of the way the body of the car is. If you check up in maybe an Xfinity or a truck, you can give that guy them slower moves a little bit more of a push. And these ones, if you do the checkup slow and the guy behind you doesn't check up, he's lifting you completely off the ground. So the more aggressive move, it causes less havoc. As much as it sees right there, the 20. Oh, we got trouble. Oh, yep, the 88's going around.
Yeah, 101's around 80. Oh, big hit for Ryan Decker as well. And that's going to bring the first yellow out of the race. And some seriously big hits there. You see the 101 tries to lock it down. A little bit of contact with Jack Walls. But unfortunately, a big incident here. And I think it was just like we talked about. I mean, I saw 4 wide going into that turn. And yeah, and then it looked, I don't know if it was from there or not, but you can see some quick reactions here. Great call by Anthony Lane. He said, yep, I'm going to take that fast pair now. Just go ahead and get the end of the longest line. I think Robert Amaral is going to do the same. So, unfortunately, yellow is out. Big hits for a number of drivers here. So, let's go back. We'll take a look. And right before that all happened, there's the contact. Let's back it up a little further. But I was going to say, the first off is a huge move, I got to say, by the 32 and the 21. Great pushing by those two to get up into that position. But now we'll jump back because we see the initial contact is with Gabe Butler and Bud Steele. And again, these are just one of those things where we'll watch the entry, and it's like you talked about, you kind of have to try to be aggressive on entry. And so you see Gabe coming in there. Bud's, again, to me, that's one of those deals where I don't know if you can really put fault on any of that. It's just those guys are right on top of each other on the entry. So then everybody's just, now at this point here, Brandon, they just got to react. You see Gabe tries to catch it. Now he loops it around here. But then the problem is behind all these guys, now it's all the reactions having to happen. And yeah, so here's the first contact a little further back there. You see the 28, the 55, and the 48. They're all lined up here together. So that sends the 28 around. And then you also see the 52 here. He's going to try to get underneath. But again, same process. He gets into the 48. That sends Ryan Decker up and over. And he makes a big hit right up top there. And I think that was not Joshua Highball. That was cars. Oh, it's the 081. I'm sorry, of Anthony Lane. They make contact, but then we look a little further back. You got Eric Laurie there. You've got Frank Ranger Jr. And we talked about Eric rolling to the back here. Brandon, look at it. Watch what he's doing here. Just able to wait for everything to happen. Just pick his way through. That car stays unscathed, able to continue on here. So we're gonna jump back live though because pit stops are already underway. And it is going to be Seth Groover who's going to win that race off of pit road. And I'm looking at timing and scoring. And I believe, yeah, it looks like everybody's going to still be on the lead lap here. So that's great news for those guys. But then it's going to be all about the damage repair decisions here for me, Brandon. You got Dude Conrad. He was in pits for about 25 seconds. That's not too big of an issue. Now we wait for those lengthier stops. I'm watching Gabe Butler still sitting up here. Now he rolls out about 34 seconds. Same thing. That's not too bad. Joshua Highball, you see that left front fender here, Brandon. It's still shoved in a bunch, but look at that. It's starting to pull away from that fender. They're able to start to get it more and more repaired. So now it's that balance between, do you push hard and try to get it all fixed, or do you go with a little bit of damage still, because there's that risk, as we always talk about. You can't lose the draft. You got to make sure you're with that field on the restart, because this is a 2.5 mile track, if I'm not mistaken, maybe even 3 miles. I can't remember offhand. And yeah, there you go. That front fender's looking very good for Josh here. And he's going to have to start rolling soon. Same thing for Nick Wing. So you can see this is a good look there. We saw where the pace car was in relation to them, because here they are on pit road. There's the pace car. So these guys are going to pretty much have to go now. There goes Nick Wing. Yep, there goes Josh Highbaugh. And I got to say, the front ends of both cars looking pretty good here. But now these guys got to really hustle. They're going to have to pedal it hard to get back to around the field here. Because, again, while it's a short pace lap, or sorry, slow pace speed, this is a very long track here. So they're going to have to really hustle. And they might have to have a little bit of help from a teammate, too. Do have a couple drivers topping off, including the 071, the 8, the 53 also hopped in there. So we'll keep an eye on those guys as well. So, yeah, caution coming out here around about the lap 9 or so mark. Everybody pitting there. And then we're going to restart this thing, Brandon, at lap number 12. So I'm not sure on the fuel again. We talked about that mileage being right around that 19 lap range. So based on that number, that should get him to about lap 30 pretty safely on this next round.
Yeah, it definitely is going to change up some strategy, I think, for a lot of guys going forward here with this early caution that collected quite a few guys here. And I think, in my own personal opinion, with it being a playoff race, Gael, I think the pace is going to slow down a little bit.
Yeah, it's very possible. I'm looking at the updated paint scheme on the number 48, and that is DFC. It's Decker's Fried Chicken, Caitlin's Secret Recipe. So, unfortunately, early troubles though for Caitlin. But again, there's still plenty of time to go. But you gotta be careful now. Someone's gonna try to chase you down and try to find out that secret recipe. So make sure you've got it somewhere safe and locked. But Brandon, we're about to get back underway. And remember, I talked about those drivers I was worried about getting back up to the field. I'm watching the 88, the 28, and the 101. They're all still they're barely entering turn 3. We're about to get back to green here, and that's going to put them in a very vulnerable position. They're going to have to work together here to try to get back up there unless they get help from a yellow. But we're back underway here. And you see also, I'm looking at that Sundrop car as well. Mike Allen, still some pretty good right front damage on his car as well here. And I'm already seeing some teamwork happening a little further back. Brandon, I see Eric Laurie. He's rolled back. Dude Conrad's rolling back because there's their teammate, Gabe Butler. And that's going to be a benefit for these two here, Nick Wing, Joshua Heibaugh. They can get lined up here. They're going to tag onto that group as well. And that's going to, we'll see, again, once we get fully up to speed, we'll watch the race pace. But up front, though, again, Jacob Lee, one of our playoff contenders, he's now trying to get to the point, and he will do so, jumping down in front of Seth Gruber there. That leaves now Bud Steele, Patrick Gruber leading that outside line. I'm also finding out here, Brandon, that Caitlin was unaware of the paint scheme change for Ryan, so it got caught Caitlin by surprise there. As here goes the third lane once more, though. You got the 17 of Frank Ranger Jr. He's got help from we just mentioned Ryan Decker there. And again, you see the sponsorship on the bottom there. Big thank you to Frank with Ranger Creative Concepts. Again, donating us trophies for the winners of the Sunday and the Thursday championships. Again, really cool. And we'll be definitely showing off his commercial here at some point tonight. But yeah, big thank you to Frank with everybody getting that done there. And also, again, looking more, Brandon, Bud Steele. Also a little bit of right front fender damage on that 6 car. So these guys aren't pristine. There's cars that do have a little bit of love on them here that are still hanging on okay.
Yeah, and I think as we've seen all year, sometimes it has an effect and sometimes it doesn't. And I don't think that damage is doing anything to that 6. As he's got it pedal all the way down, and maybe I thought was going to clear the 21 there. Nope, he's still going to stay on the side of him and keep it rocking. But yeah, Bud's still having a very good race so far.
You can see right here, you've got 4 drivers a little bit off the pack here. That's Robert Amaral, Anthony Lane, Dean Wilkinson, and Quabi Brooks. But they're about a second back. They should, they should catch back up, and they're starting to pull forward now. But the one I talked about, that nose damage, that fender damage I was worried about, that's Mike Allen. And sure enough, that car dropped off the draft, and he is in a bad spot. So I can tell you the other guys that we talked about with Eric, Gabe, Nick, Joshua, they have all hooked up together as well, and Dude Conrad as well. So now this is probably their first lap fully back up to speed. So this is about where I'm going to want to watch their lap times compared to the other leaders. Oh, look at Ryan Decker. Big move in front of Bud Steele there. That's going to put these two on the top side there, Patrick Gruber as well as Dale Rapp. Again, a couple playoff drivers here. But I want to watch his lap times here. His last time by leaders was 51.87, 51.96 for the group of Dude Conrad, Eric Laurie and company. So about a 1/10 of a second slower. They're going to need to try to find a little more pace to try to pull back into this field.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to take some work because these guys are really nose to tail here. I've been keeping my eye on the 52 of Dale Rapp. He's keeping about half a bumper off of the 54 in the corners, really letting that 52 cool down. And then as they go down the straightaway, he's really on their bumper. Just going to maybe need a little bit of help as you see the 03 really close up and have to check up as they had a really good run coming down the front stretch.
Yeah, and I saw that too. He got right on the 54, right at the exit of 4. I mean, enough where I got nervous, honestly. And you see there, he's going to enter a little high. Looks like, yep, I was saying he drifted too high there. That let the 03 take over that spot. And so he's going to lose a couple spots from that. And that's the risk reward. Again, you want to give yourself a little bit of breathing room, but depending on, especially on when you are in the race, they're going to maybe close that gap. So you got to be extremely cautious there. Last time by still same thing, about 2/10 off for that second pack, so they haven't closed the gap yet. Right now showing about, I believe, 9 to 10 seconds off the lead. Yeah, about 10 on the dot right now. So we'll see how things continue. But again, I mean, we still got a long ways to go in this race, Brandon. So anything's going to happen. I mean, again, at some point, we're going to start to see these guys get even dice here. And also picking over the YouTube, so you got a fan popping up in the chat over there.
Yeah, appreciate everybody tuning in, and to keep it a little bit on the racing. What we haven't seen yet that we're starting to see is the 03 in between the 54 and the 32. The 32 has had a really great season. Led, I think, most of the season, clocking off quite a few wins. And when him and his brother get together, especially pushing and getting a good little tandem, as they're trying to form on the outside lineup here, they can really be hard to beat here, Gael.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And those two, like I said, I mean, there's times where it's just the two of them, and it feels like they've got an extra car in there just because of the pace they have, even when they're just locked on just with the two of them together. So, yeah, they're a very impressive group. And yeah, like you said, right now, Kevin Hash kind of in between the two of them. And so right now, the 03 of Kevin Hash, he and his teammate Ray Rittenauer, they're a little bit separated from each other on the lane side of things. Position-wise, they're pretty close together. But what we have right now is we have a 15-car lead pack working together. And, yeah, right now the numbers aren't working lap time-wise. Those, again, falling off a little bit for the 88-28 and company. You also see there Mike Allen, he's rolling out of pit road. That is a fast repair, I believe, for him. Unfortunately, that car just was not able to keep up. So, unfortunately, fast repair for him. But back up front, still Jacob Lee leading in that 21 with the 54 of Patrick Gruber behind him. And then Ryan Decker, Bud Steele, and Dean Wilkinson on the inside lane.
Yeah, Gael, I'll tell you who's not slowing down, and the pace is picking up. And I'll tell you what, it's the favorite brother in the 53. He's closing up there. He's now the fourth car in line on the outside. We were talking about somebody maybe sneaking in and getting a win. He's slowly creeping into the picture.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm curious on him. Obviously, I know him better than others. I think he's going to have his eyes set on teammates, and so I think the first one in his sights is going to be Ryan Decker in that 48. I think if and when the opportunity arises, I think, yeah, he'll definitely try to help Ryan. But again, like I mentioned, though, yeah, I mean, he's definitely made a big charge right now. He's up 16 spots as they enter 3. But yeah, it's one of those things where, again, if maybe Ryan's not in a good position to try to win this race towards the end, or one of the other teammates like Nick Wing, who's had early troubles, unfortunately, like we said, best way to get bonus points. Look at the 21 and the 52. This is a little tight there. Like I talked about, if you give just an inch, some of these guys are going to try to grab that spot, and unfortunately that put Dale Rapp out, and now these guys got to be real careful here entering 1.
Yeah, and I think a lot of this aggressive racing has to come back to one of our sponsors putting out one of the best looking trophies you can win in iRacing. Is now he's the 4th car on the outside. Frank builds a beautiful trophy, and I think that's maybe made these playoffs start to heat up a little bit more. As you can see, it's went the other way. I thought it was going to slow down. It's not slowing down. These guys have still got it going 100%.
Yeah, no, definitely still plenty of aggression. And again, you kind of wonder, like at one point, in my mind, it's like, the risk versus reward, and just kind of play it easy and all that. But yeah, like I said, because you've got some of your championship competitors in that second pack. You've got Nick Wing, Josh Heibaugh, Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler. You've got 4 of the 16 already in that second pack that are 10 plus seconds behind you. You almost wonder, it's like at that point, you're like, hey, we're in a really good spot here. Let's not rock the boat too much. But yeah, like you said, I mean, right now you got the top 6 in the playoffs, and they're going for it. So it's one of those things where that's how they got to this point, so they got to keep it after it. And yes, Jasper popping in the chat as well. He says he's going to come back and win the race with the whole field wrecking behind him again. But yeah, no, definitely looking forward to having you back next season, Jasper. I appreciate you reaching out to me. Like I said, I would love to get you in sooner, but just not able to add anybody mid-season, especially right at the start of the playoffs. So, but yeah, definitely look forward to seeing you in any of the nights you're able to attend, man. So yeah, glad you reached back out to us.
Yeah, man, Jasper was awesome. I met him. I was in a regular, just a regular iRacing race. He hopped in and he spotted for me, and I said, "Hey, man, you did pretty good at spotting. You want to try to come over here and run?" And I don't think Jasper was over here maybe 3 weeks, and he pulled off a win. So I'm like you. I'm excited to have him back next season and add just one more driver to this great field that we have already, and have some more great racing.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm still watching lap times here, Brad. Haven't forgotten about those guys in the back with Dude Conrad and company. You can see they've also changed the order a little bit now. You've got the 101 of Joshua Highbaugh pushing Dude Conrad, and then you got Eric Laurie, Nick Wynn, Gabe Butler. So right now, but again, the lap times just haven't been there. It's been in the low 52s, whereas the leaders are in the very, very high, if not high 51s, or 52 flats, I should say. I'm sorry. But again, that last time by, though, 51.80 for the top two spots. So it's just, for whatever reason, I mean, again, these guys are pushing hard, but just the pace is not there with those 5 cars by themselves.
Yeah, and a lot of it we've seen this season that 3 cars can catch back up. But these guys ain't riding up here. They're not letting off. I'm still seeing them shove each other down the front and back stretch. These guys ain't lifting, so it's not able to give those guys a chance to catch back up. And one of the names that's back in that pack is a playoff driver, and he's had multiple wins in this league. So right now he's sitting almost dead last as the playoffs restarted today. If the race was to end right now, you got one of your toughest competitors coming in with 3 races to go with the hardest battle. So these guys know what they're doing and trying to keep all their competition as far as they can.
Yeah, and that's it too. Like you said, I mean, if they start to roll off the throttle, I mean, it's kind of like in sports where there's times where you kind of, you get to a lead, and instead of playing to win, you play not to lose, and that's when you lose. So, and I think that's exactly it. It's like, hey, if we just roll over and just start being cautious and all that, they're going to pull right back up to us. So we got to stay aggressive, make sure we keep that gap and grow that gap, to just, make sure that doesn't happen. And like you said, right now, you've got 4 of your competitors right now sitting in, 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. I mean, that's best case scenario for your own championship approaches. And like you said, I mean, those are some heavy hitters in that group too. So, and that's the other nice part, I think, for me too, is it is, of course, a shortened playoff with just the 4 races. However, that's my soapbox. I like the idea of at least being able, you have to perform at each of the super speedway tracks. It's not just one win and you, or be good at one track and then you win the championship. So I do like the way we have it set up here, where you got to be good here, you got to be good at Daytona, Talladega, and Atlanta, because let's say if you falter at any one of them, somebody's going to capitalize on top of you.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. I like that too. That means you got to be go mode at all time, and that produces not only great racing, but great excitement for the people that tune in. And so I'm 100% with you. But what also needs to be noted is the last time we were here, Gabe and them boys did not disappoint when it came to pit stops. At one time, him and Everett Lane had gained almost 3 seconds, and they came in together as a group. So these guys up here know how important pit road is coming, and we haven't seen it under green yet, and we're about to that point. So these guys know they got to execute it when it comes. Yeah,
definitely within that 5-lap window, like you said. So, the window's going to be opening. What that means is we're going to start to see a lot of drivers start to sneak into the inside. And right on cue, Seth Greer saw an opening, snuck in right in front of Dean Wilkinson there, right between he and Bud Steele. And so, so right now the Groovers are separated, but they've all been able to settle to the inside. So now you got drivers like Dale Rapp there in the 52, Quabi Brooks in the 53, trying to find a way in. Frank Ranger in the 17, just trying to find somewhere to slot in. And again, we'll see if anybody's going to maybe try to play nice and get him in. But for Dale, though, I don't think he's got a lot of his teammates right now at the moment in this main pack. So he's going to have to try to make some friends here early. And so he does have help right now from the 53. So we'll just kind of see what the race pace is. But again, like you said, it's still a quick pace, though. 52 flat that last time by.
Yeah, and what's going to be very interesting about this is I'm hearing a little bit of chatter watching, being in the race, watching the race, and hearing that chatter of the drivers. There's starting to be a little bit of communication, and with this pit road, it gets so narrow when you come out off of this turn 4 and you get down onto that banking at over 200 miles an hour, and you got to get down to 55. There's got to be great communication, or you can ruin everybody's race. And one of the worst parts about that pit road is if you wreck, you're not going to see a caution because you're under the yellow line, and iRacing rarely throws that caution.
Yep, you're exactly right. And yeah, like I said, this is also one of the most difficult pit roads to get onto because, like you said, I mean, you're coming in at what, 220, 230 probably, and then you got to get that thing down to 65. But at the same time, the banking transition, I mean, it's like you're just dropping off a cliff basically. So it's a big transition from the bank to the flat, and yeah, like I said, so everybody's got to be on their toes here. I mean, look at the 53. He's done a great job. Dale's just to the side there of the 54 there coming into turn number 3, but not quite enough to clear. So, but we'll see. I'm seeing an opening starting to form with Ryan Decker as well as Bud Steele. Will these guys be able maybe try to find a way to slot in here? Right now I'm watching, and Dale's going to try to pop in. There he goes. Now the 53 is going to have to try to find a home, and I think he's going to get it with Bud Steele. You can see Bud rolling out just a teeny bit here, and that's going to get Quabi in as well. So now we're going to have that draft train, which to me means I think we're going to have 15 cars here hit pit road all at the same time here, Brandon, which I am terrified for personally.
Yeah, because it's really, really difficult. As we see them already, they start, as soon as you say that, yep, they wind right back out. And I think it's maybe some guys have understood we're gonna come at different laps, and that's maybe why we even seen the 48. He had his teammate right behind him. He hopped to the second lane, and maybe that just shows maybe the inside lane's going to come first.
Yeah, I think we're going to probably see Patrick Groover coming. Yep, here we go. First set of pit stops under green, and there's going to be Patrick Groover leading the way. Seth's in there. We got the 21 of Jacob Lee, Dale Rapp, Dean Wilkinson, Frank Ranger, Anthony Lane, Robert Amaral. And I got to say, that is a great pit entry by all these guys. I saw no dramas. We'll, of course, make sure that their pit speeds were safe, but I'm going to say pit entry-wise, getting down to speed, just perfect job by them. Now we'll jump back up front because now these are the guys going that extra lap. So this is where you got to get everything you can here, Brendan. So if you're the 48, you're pushing the 03. If you're the 53, you're staying right on top of that. If you're Ray right now, you're staying right on the 6 car as well. Just trying to get that fastest in lap you can possibly get. I also got to mention that Nick Wing and Josh Highbaugh, they pitted that last time by as well. So they're a little off sequence for those other guys. But here we go. We'll watch how this pit entry compares. And oh, look how much those cars jump. Watch the 53. He's going to catch the inside wall, so that's going to give him damage. But that said, though, he's going to still stay in pit road speed. So not the way you want to get down to speed, but yeah, that car's got pretty solid left front damage. Might have to take a fast repair in that one. So now we'll jump back to Eric Laurie and company with these 3 boot knocker drivers there. Look at Gabe there, had to change lanes, did not get into Eric Laurie, and they are hustling it, trying to get everything they can. So now we'll jump back to those that have finished their pit stops, and it's going to be Jacob Lee, Patrick Groover together. Seth just about a half second back, and then Dean Wilkinson is the next car in line, but it's just those 4. They have completely broken away from the rest of the pitters.
Yeah, that was very clean driving, and if history repeats itself, Gael, if we can get this pit stop clean and no yellow, I think this is where the race really starts. So you build in your strategy, and your teammates are really gonna make a difference. Because normally this is where we start to get our green flag run, and those guys pushing at the extra lap makes me start to think that these guys are thinking the same thing. They're getting about 20 laps to a tank. That puts us right around the 70 to 71 range mark. So that's really just a splash to get to the end.
Yeah, exactly right. So I think at this point, still 2 stops to the end. Here come the Groovers. They have got Jacob Lee with them, and they're starting to pick up momentum. They're going to grab the 2, the 6, and the 53. Also see Ray right now. I was nervous about Ray, but I think he's going to just hang on to these guys. He had an 11.5 second stop, which to me says 2 tires on the rights. Everybody else was in the 8-second window. So right now, Ray's going to have to really hustle. I think he's going to get there, but it's going to be Patrick Groover. Oh, big check up there. I think yeah, something happened there to Kevin Hash, I believe, and there's a big reaction here. So I'm not sure what exactly happened to Kevin there, but that was a really close call for a couple of them, and I think they're gonna be okay. But that's gonna bring all these guys back together. However, got to be careful because these top three, they're starting to just sneak away here, and they've just broke the 1 second mark between the 55 and themselves. So if they can stay organized here, they could break this lead pack here as Jacob Lee's going to jump top, let the brothers take over up front, and we'll watch to see what that interval does, as right now it's again sitting right at that 1 second mark between the 55 and the 21.
Yeah, and what happened there with the 03? The 03 had the best pit stop. The 03 was actually leading as those guys came. He ran into a position that I was in a couple weeks ago with the trucks. The same situation. I moved up, he stayed where he was, and I caused a caution. So I think Kevin was just he executed pit road so good. He was ahead of everybody, and he didn't want to move, especially heading into that corner with that bump. And Jack was just running, maybe thinking he was just going just a little bit quicker, but no harm, no foul, and I think that everybody's going to be all right.
Yeah, so far, yeah, it does look like in the end it's going to keep these 11 drivers all together now. So again, lost a couple in the process. Unfortunately, those that did fall off that main pack include these three here: Frank Ranger, Anthony Lane, and Robert Amaral. They're already now about 11 seconds off that lead pack in front of them. You got to go another 9 seconds back for these guys here. And again, it's the same group of guys there with Eric Laurie, Jude Conrad, Gabe Butler all together as well. But we talked about those that pitted a lap earlier. That's Josh Heibaugh, Nick Wing. Unfortunately, they've fallen way back now. They are another 10 seconds back, those guys. And then looking to see, I'm not sure if maybe Dale Rapp had a penalty or not, but unfortunately he now sits in 20th position. And I believe the last car on the lead lap, then Mike Allen just got put a lap down in that number 13. So right now we have 20 on the lead lap. Mike Allen, the only car one down. And last time by Ray Rittenauer, catching back up to the field, he was the quickest car on track as he's getting back to his teammate Kevin Hash here. But yeah, right now we've got basically kind of four small, well, one really big pack and then about 3 smaller packs here. As you see, Patrick's going to jump top here. He's actually going to roll back. Well, actually looks like he'll pick up Seth here. I wonder if this is maybe a little bit of fuel strategy. There goes Jacob Lee as well. So some strategy going on here with these guys opting to drop back a little bit this time around.
Yeah, I think these guys are going to start to get into maybe a little bit of fuel save mode. We talked about it. 20 laps would have put us at 51 since when these guys pitted 51, 52, and then another one after that puts you around 71, 72. So if it stays green like we think maybe it will with the pack starting to get split up, if these guys can maybe save a lap or two, stay out and still win early in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. I don't think anybody's going to be able to pull off a one-stopper to the end from here because right now we're crossing right here to 40 to go. And again, we talked about that fuel window being right at that number basically. So if they could go from here, basically they could pit and then pit one more time to the end. So I think regardless, everybody had 2 more stops to the end here. Like you mentioned, maybe that quick splash towards the very, very end. So yeah, a little surprised about this. I'm curious what the strategy is on it. Again, these guys have more info and more details from in the car. But yeah, so it'll be really interesting to see what the strategy is. But also got to say a good evening and a happy Easter to Mama Groover peeking in there. And yeah, so far so good. Let's say the boys have been doing well right now. As like I said, looks like strategy's changed a little bit for them. They've rolled back a little bit. But right now, looking again, they're about to catch that 52 we just mentioned of Dale Rapp, which would put him clearly the first car one down as Mike Allen is in a different pack. So unfortunately, like I said, these guys not having the nights they're looking for. But I'm looking at the points though, Brendan. I mean, look where the playoff drivers are. You've got a bunch in the top 10, top 11 positions all in this main pack. But then you look at the other ones that are a little further back, and I mean, it's a pretty big margin. As I say, that might look like Mike Allen's on pit road as we speak. I mean, you got Laurie, Butler, Heibaugh, Wing, and Rapp 16th through 20th, while you've got the other guys 1st through 11th. So it's a big swing. And again, I mean, it's only 4 races, so those couple positions are going to be a big factor in how this championship could play out tonight.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't get any easier. And that's because the tension around you starts to build up. Not only that, but other guys are on the bubble, so now they're understanding that, hey man, I gotta go, because I can't afford another. If I finish back here again, and this is not saying this is where these guys are finishing. This is just as we're running. It's a super speedway, and we're running over 200 mile an hour. Anything can happen, but it is a very, very good point. That it's really, really hard to rebound. It's you got such a great competitive field that one mistake can literally ruin everything. We seen it in the regular season with some guys, so definitely got to stay on it and not go a lap down.
Yeah, we'll definitely be keeping an eye on that. But yeah, like I said, right now, top 11 all running together. Like I said, the Groovers kind of, I think, just rolling back a little bit, maybe trying to kind of save a little bit of fuel, catch their breath a little bit before they really get back into it. Then we got to go about that 16 seconds back I mentioned to this next group, which is now actually really started to split up here. I wonder if actually something happened here, because I'm seeing Frank Ranger and Anthony Lane, and then there's one that was way off the path. Oh, actually, I'm sorry, that was Mike Allen who had just pitted. But right now they're very, very separated from one another, and that's obviously not going to be the way to get the pace up, which is going to allow this group here of Jude Conrad, Eric Lurie, Gabe Butler, those three to try to catch back up to them. And then again, we look at this right now, Robert Amaral, he's kind of off on his own here. He's staying way top, and that's because here come a couple cars. He's going to let them go on by, and that's Josh Heibaugh, Nick Wing, so it'll add another drafter to them. So right now, like I said, a lot of drivers kind of all spread out, but right now, again, this is the main pack here, as now it's going to be Dean Wilkinson at the point, and I'm watching the pace here, Brennan. It's slowing down. We're talking about those guys running in the 51s. We're starting to get creep towards the low mid 52 range. I'm wondering, like you said, I'm wondering if there's some calculators smoking a little bit, trying to crunch some numbers here.
Well, I think one thing that we haven't talked about all night, and you brought it up, somebody was thinking about it. We've heard multiple winners talk about it with these cars. Them tires start to matter. And these guys really pushed the limit at the beginning of this race, really running these cars hard and running 3 lanes and pushing them to about as far as they could go. And as we start to click off these green flag pit stops, they're not going to take tires because they want to get in and get out as quickly as possible. And tires just aren't going to be on their agenda. So that's really going to start to cause a little bit more squirreliness up here in these groups. And I think that could bring up what you talked about with Gabe in those 3 cars. I think this is where they can slowly start to creep in.
And that might also be what we were seeing from Ray Rittenauer, too. Again, he's, I think, the only car that took right side tires. And that's going to help that car rotate a little bit better. By typical fashion, the right side tires help loosen that car up and just help it kind of rotate a little better. So, yeah, so if these guys are starting to struggle a little bit with the handle, because, yeah, like you said, you're going to give up the time, or you're not going to give up the time, I should say, on pit entry again, just due to the outright pace of what these cars have. So, yeah, so they're going to stay aggressive, and they say, you know what? All right, if we can stay up, save that second or two on the track, that's going to feel like probably a mile just pace-wise. So, but, yeah, right now, again, I'm super curious because, I mean, now look at Jacob Lee. He's got nobody behind him, but he's holding pace with those two on the outside of him. And just very interesting. As I said, they're going to both clear that number 21 car. 53 is now going to take over the lead of the outside lane. And that's going to include, again, one of our lap drivers now, Dale Rapp. Again, Dale's right now the first car one down. What do you do here if you're him? You're the only car at the lap down at the moment, but you are starting to catch a couple lap cars coming up. You can see them just at the very edge of the screen there. So you probably want to stay aggressive here, I think, Brandon, right? And kind of once you catch those guys, you cycle to the front of that field.
Yeah, and I think he's in a great position just to sit still. You got Quabi that's in front of you, that is trying to sneak in a win right there, as we just seen. Fall stay right in there and let him clear. But not only that, if they even would have stayed up top, he had the 54 and the 32. You know those guys aren't going to do anything to really put you in harm. They're really, really good pushers. But getting right there and just maybe trying to stay in that spot as we see the bottom lane, it's going to start to get tight as we head into a corner. You can't leave that open because guys are going to want to fill that spot.
Yeah, it's like I said, yeah, he's definitely kind of playing a little bit dangerous there because that was easily an opportunity there. Had Kevin Hash wanted to, he could have definitely shoved his nose in there. So it's like you said, you can give a little bit of room, but I would say if it's even in the car length side, that's going to be too much. Like right there, if you get a run, that 03 has all the room to get to that inside line. So once you can see the seam right there that the 53 is sitting on. again, that's to try to get a little bit of an arc into the turn. But you can see right there, the 52 just washes out a little bit on that entry, which is another thing we always got to talk about is when you're tight on those guys, it's easy to miss the entry of turn 1 and turn 3. There's a little bobble there. It looked like out of 4. But, yeah, right now, the 53 doing a great job with that number 54. But look, the momentum, the camera angle actually kind of tricked us there because it's going to be the 54-32. They clear ahead. And look at Jack Walls. We haven't talked about him all night. Here he is now vying for the front of the field here.
Yeah, Jack Wall's been quiet all night, but slowly working his way back to the front. He knows how to get around these super speedways, getting multiple wins in multiple divisions, and sometimes that's the best way to be. Be quiet all race until it matters, and we should be coming up around maybe our next set of pit stops, so maybe some guys starting to get to that bottom line and get in position where we talked about if you're in the front, especially here with these pit stops. From the front to the back, it's not that far right now as we're up to speed. But as you start to slow down and come to pit road, guys start to space out. You can really lose a lot of time.
Oh, man, big move there by the 32 and 21. Looked like pretty much great communication with all of them. And, yeah, like I said, I think we're in that 5-lap window because, again, they pitted right around lap number 30. Was hearing about that 19-lap window we talked about, so that should see him in around that 48, 49, 50 window. Just really depends on who's saving what at the moment. So, and there you go, Ryan Decker. He's going to slot on in there. That's going to leave Todd Merkel and Bud Steele to the outside lane here. We'll see if they can make anything happen, either to charge forward or, again, maybe we see someone try to give him a little bit of space to slot in here because Bud does have a couple teammates here with Jack Walls and Quabi Brooks. And, yeah, there's the opening. I think Bud's going to say, don't mind if I do. And he's going to take Todd Merkel right there with him. But, oh, caution's out. That's going to change a lot of things. And, oh, it's going to be Dale Rapp involved as well. Oh, Kevin Hash as well. Those are 2 playoff drivers. That's really unfortunate for Dale because, again, he was in the lucky dog position. But, man, that is a huge lifeline here to pretty much every other driver in the field here because they were all still in the lead lap. So this brings everybody back into the mix here.
Yeah, my buddy Dale Rapp, man, he caught that apron nightmare, and once you touch it here in these corners, there is no saving it rarely. So, man, Kevin Hash unfortunately collected in that also, but like you said, a big break for these guys that was 20 to 20 seconds behind.
And I'm wondering actually what probably happened here. We'll back it down now, but everybody was starting to slow down to try to let everybody in, and yeah, you see there he goes, he catches the apron. And look at Ray Rinnar. Ray did the same thing as well. And that's, again, you build that rhythm. You get familiar. Okay, I need to turn in at this point because, oh, actually, Ray's going to get a piece of this as well, I think, in the 87. So both of those teammates, and man, that's a hit for Dale, unfortunately. But, yeah, okay, I'm going to enter this turn at 220 miles an hour. I turn at this point. This is what it's going to do. The field checks up a ton. You're entering the turn at 200 miles an hour. That entry point's all of a sudden way too soon, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to wind up just catching the apron early, and that's what's going to happen. But like I said, Dale's by far going to get the worst of it because, one, he was already lapped down, and now he's not going to get that wave around from it as well due to the damage, as he's actually on pit road now. And does he have a fast repair, or did he have to tow potentially? This is going to put him in a really tough position as well. But like I said, the bad luck for him, amazing luck for everybody else there. I mean, you go back from him to Eric Laurie, Gabe Butler, Nick Wing, Joshua Highball, all these playoff drivers just got a new lease on life here.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. You got to keep chugging away because at 200 mile an hour at these tracks, anything can happen, and sometimes it's just being caught by the apron, and just like that, it can switch the whole race up. And you know these guys up front are not happy about that caution. That was the last thing they wanted to see. They had a really good lead on a couple of those guys, and the bigger the pack gets, the more intense the racing gets. So we're a little bit more over halfway, and it's going to get pretty good here, Gael.
Yeah, exactly right. And so with it being halfway, we're going to take a quick break here, show off our wonderful sponsors. We just talked about a little earlier, and that is going to be that Ranger Creative Concept. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
I feel like I'm afraid to say how I feel, to know I let you down. 'Cause late nights turn to days, don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart.
All right, lights are off at the pace. We're watching that number 17 of Frank Ranger Jr. in his Ranger Creative Concepts Chevrolet Impala, as he's going to take a little top off of fuel here. And again, there's no strategy on the fuel side to make it to the end here, Brandon. But we're going to restart this thing with 27 to go. Again, that magic number we heard about 19, 20-ish to go. So these guys basically, there's a big window when you can pit here. So you could pit in 10 laps, you could pit in 20 laps. This is going to be very interesting because also this is a track you can get put a lap down here during the pit stop cycle. So there's going to be a big risk versus reward on short pitting. But yeah, unfortunately, we can confirm Dale Rapp still sitting in pit road, and that's a heartbreaker for him because again, one of our playoff drivers was doing really well, just unfortunately had a bit of a miscue, and then yeah, like I said, that big checkup I think just completely threw off his entry point into 3. And yeah, just unfortunately, that was all she wrote there. And I thinking back, I think he was involved in that early incident where he had to take a fast repair. So field's all gathering back up, just about got everybody back together because again, they don't want to lose the draft on this restart. That could cost you the race. And it looks like everybody's going to make it here as we get to that restart zone. It's Jacob Lee on the inside, Jack Walls to the outside, and we are back underway here at iRacing Superspeedway. And the other thing I got to mention here, Brandon, is strategy. A lot of drivers did top off there, so we'll see if that's a benefit or not here as we get to the closing stages. And hopefully drivers took some tires there. Oh man, that was close between the 2 and the 21. It was just like I said there, the 2 try to follow the 21, or sorry, the 2 try to follow the 83 down and right almost into the door of that 21 of Jacob Lee.
Yeah, I think that was just them guys trying to share some Easter candy and get back these cars back up to speed. But I think the one thing we're really going to have to focus on is the Roswell guys. These guys have executed pit road all year, and this has fallen right into their wheelhouse where you can peel off at any time, get together with your team, not say anything to anybody, and just take your pit stop and get on and get off and stay clean and not have any harm or foul done as we see the 77 coming to pit road.
Yeah, I wonder if that may be a pit penalty. It looks like an unscheduled one, but look at the change of drivers now up front. Eric Laurie, all of a sudden, he's right into the front. Great pushes from Ryan Decker. Here comes Dude Conrad. He was in that group with Eric Laurie. Again, they're plus 10, 15 seconds off the field, and they're right back into the thick of this thing here. So, again, some bad luck, unfortunately, for Dale. But even Kevin Hash, he took that fast repair, and he's right back after here. I think he took the fast repair. Honestly, I'm not even sure anymore. But he's right back after it. Well, in the 03 car, and like I said, this is about the time where it's time to go. And yeah, like you said, this is strategy time. Do you pit early and just try to be sneaky with your teammates? Or have we seen what hasn't worked and you have to pit in that big pack? Because we saw Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie. I mean, those were big hitters and they just weren't able to. Look at the middle lane there. Joshua Highball, he saw an opening and he said, don't mind if I do. I'm going to sneak in that middle lane here as we're going to head 3 wide into 1.
Yeah, a lot of these guys up here, we talk about the 071, the 03, the 48. These guys have all been there. They got a ton of top 5s, a ton of top 10s. Just at Superspeedway racing at the end, it's so difficult. So all these guys are very, very hungry for a win. And I think that's where we talk about that strategy. I think that's what's going to make it even more important, that these guys are going to want to take these risks because they've been here and they haven't capitalized when they wanted to. So it amps up this next stop even that much more. And we see guys. Oh, big move there by the 101.
Yeah, saw an opening. He said, "Yep, I got to take it there." And I mean, like I said, that was a squeeze. But again, we're getting to that point where you got to try to keep all the track position you can. And also, the other thing we got to point out is, with unfortunately the issue for Dale Rapp, that lucky dog goes to the next car that's eligible, and that was this 13 of Mike Allen. So Mike went from 2 down to just 1 lap down now. And at this rate, he's going to try to unlap himself because look, the momentum he's getting out of 2. Great help here from the 03 of Kevin Hash, and he is going to get side by side with Eric Laurie, who's leading this race. And at the moment, put that numbers 13 car tail in the lead lap here. If a yellow were to come out, he'd be right back in the thick of this thing.
Yeah, and that makes a huge difference, especially with being able to pit under yellow with all the whole group here. So that would be a big lucky break as he drops down and gets in front of the 071.
But now it's the 2 teammates once again, Kevin Hash, Ray Renner. They get locked on. They are making a huge charge. Add along the 53 Quabi Brooks. Look at Anthony Lane. He's right in the mix here now as well in that 081, the PBR car. So yeah, so everybody's starting to kind of cycle around and trying to figure out what lane do they want to be in. But there you go. The momentum shift went from the top back to the bottom there. And here we go again. It's really, it seems like the shorter distance through the turns, but then that exit out of 2 and 4 for the outside lane is where it really shines. So definitely that strategy of what lane do you want to put yourself in these closing stages of the race.
Yeah, speaking of shining, we ain't really gave much of a shout out, but we got some good looking paint schemes out here tonight. A few different ones. I've been watching that 081 of Anthony Lane. That's a really good looking race car that he's brought here tonight, and I'm always a big fan of the paint schemes. As Bud still says, hey, let's go 3 wide.
Yeah, so Bud saw an opening, and like I said, and that makes it tough here because right there, as you can see, again, these guys are given space, and Bud's thinking, okay, well, if these openings are going to keep forming, I'm going to keep going. And he's kind of just stealing the draft off of the sides of both of these cars. But I'd say this is where he's going to kind of pay the price a little bit. It's down the straightaways. Now he's going to get a little bit of help here from Todd Merkel. Looks like Frank Ranger Jr. is thinking about joining that party as well. And, can he clear Ryan? Ryan's maybe trying to give him. Yep, there you go. There's some teamwork there. Ryan Decker's letting that number 6 slot in there. As we continue in the back, a little bit of trouble further back here. We got the 54, the 80, was that the 80, 081 we just talked about, caution back out here. And we got a couple of cars involved. Unfortunately, we do have one of the Groovers in that. I think Dude Conrad may have got a piece as well. So we'll have to go back and see. Oh, Nick Wing, actually, yeah, look at that damage. He's straight back to pit road. But what I'm watching as well, though, is at the time of yellow, where was Mike Allen? If he's leading this race, and yeah, there he goes. He's just going to drive right on by that pace car, and that's going to give him that lap back, just like you said, the old-fashioned way. And there's going to be a huge beneficiary to all of this, I believe, and that's going to be Robert Amaral as well, because he was just 1 lap down. So let's go back, though. Let's try to see what exactly happened, because, again, I'm wondering once more here, was this another checkup situation that we had? Just from what was going on there, you can already see the context. Let's back it up a little further. And no, I'm going to say that's definitely not related here. So we'll focus here initially on Frank. You see him on the middle lane. You see the 081 there on the outside lane. And again, this is just, we're running super slow-mo. This is not what it feels like in the car. And yeah, just honestly on my side, just kind of looks like going for the same real estate there. I can't really say it's a fault of anybody. And you see the 101, a little bit of contact there. Oh, and there's Patrick, just catches the apron there in the inside. And again, we've seen what that apron can do. And unfortunately, he's going to be in for a bad time there. And just tries to catch it. And then just way up into the outside wall. Big hit for him. 081 was getting back going. He had the basically that momentum shift. And then, look in the back there. Actually, Seth and Dean Wilkinson make contact. And you see Seth just trying to catch it. But then Nick Wing, did his damage come later, or did he just hop in right away? So I want to see now. Let's go back and find what happened to Nick Wing here in all of this. All right, so here's the 28. Everything's looking good and right. A little bit of contact with Dean, but We'll see where he gets his damage from. Oh, right there. Oh, him and Gabe Butler make contact, and yeah, late damage on his. So unfortunately, yeah, some contact there. So we'll go back live. Here's that 77 I just talked about. He is hustling around trying to get caught back up to the field. And Brandon, it never fails. We're at 20 to go. We're going to be right on that fuel window. I think we're going to restart this thing with 18 to go. So I think we'll be good to go to fuel to the end. But if we get a restart with the green-white checkered, I think everybody's going to have to come back in here.
Yeah, this, and I swear, whenever we think we got it figured out, there's just something that happens, and I'm sorry to the 081. That's my fault. The commentator curse never fails neither.
You wouldn't be a green white checker TV commentator though, Brandon, if you didn't have the commentator's curse. It's just a requirement of broadcasting on this channel. I say I've done it, Boomer's done it. I mean, I think we've all had it happen. So it just means you're the right fit for this broadcast.
But I think we're gonna see a lot of guys. I think maybe come in not only the top off, but to be in the back when this race restarts. So he can maybe be back there like you talked about for that green-white checker, maybe save just a little bit, or if these guys are pushing hard, they said 19 to 20. So it's going to be very interesting as we see the leader. He stays out. He says, I'm staying up here. I don't need the fuel.
Yeah, I know. There's definitely some mixed bags here. And the one thing I'm the most surprised about still in all of this is I still see that damage on the right front of Bud Steele's car. I'm not sure if it's an issue on my end or just he said, I want the track position more, but that right front fender still kind of bent in on the very front. But yeah, you're exactly right, though. From the top 7, they all opt to go ahead and stay out and not do the top off on the one to go. And then Eric Laurie's going to beat the field out for the first one who did top off. And then remember that guy that got his lap back the old-fashioned way? Look at Mike Allen. He's now going to be up in about the 7th or 8th position here in that number 13. So there's like you said, there's something to be said about trying to get it back the old-fashioned way because he gets the restart right here. Otherwise, he's going to be restarting way back here. So, yeah, definitely not what he'd be hoping for. And unfortunately, in that whole situation there, the bad luck for Patrick Groover, Robert Amaral back on the lead lap as well. Unfortunately, Patrick having to tow, that puts him down 1 lap in that number 54. However, he is, I believe, at this point now the only car one down. I think everybody else that is on track, or sorry, that's in the server has retired. So if I'm Patrick here at this point, I just ride. I don't think it's worth the gamble trying to do what we just saw the 13 do. You're in a great spot. Just hang back. If something happens, capitalize on it.
Yeah, and I'm 100% with you. And speaking of those guys that stayed out, there's only one guy up there with a win this year, and that's the 83. And so a lot of them guys staying out, they're thinking about what we talked about earlier, getting that first win and doing it here in the playoffs. As these guys got it back up, getting up to speed in the 03 with a really, really good jump. But that outside, I like that line. It's really, really tucked nose to tail there. They're going to have a really good run going off into turn 1.
Yeah, they're very locked on to each other. And those are teammates side by side, the 87 the 03. So they got to try to find a way to get back together. 87 is separating a couple teammates there with the 6 and the 83. So, like I said right now, all the teammates are kind of split up a little bit for the moment. But the important thing on this one, Brandon, is we restarted this race with 18 to go. I had talked to some drivers, and I was hearing it was 19 and change that they could go on full send mode. So based on that, we should be good. There should be no fuel dramas for any of these guys to make it to the end. But like I said, though, there were a bunch that topped off. So, again, just wonder maybe there is still a little bit of concern as, again, the end of this race, the pace is going to pick up. They're going to get a little more aggressive. Look how tight Ray Rittenauer was right there on Bud Steele out of 4. Yeah, business is about to pick up. So, like I said, if I'm Patrick, I'm rolling nice and back there. He's got Robert Amaral again. He got the wave around. He's back on the lead lap, so great opportunity here for that 77 to capitalize as well. So, yeah, if I'm Patrick right now, I just ride. And then also do need to mention Nick Wing again. He pitted there right. Oh no, he didn't catch the field. I'll say because he had pitted during that before the pits had opened. And so he got the end of the line, but I just saw now that he's in the back. So unfortunately, Nick's going to need a caution to get himself have a chance back at this.
Yeah, Nick, with the history here at iRacing Speedway, you got a caution coming, buddy. Hang tight. Don't get too frustrated. We got the whole pack up here under a blanket, and we understand a lot of these guys got the green light. So, like you said, the racing's not going to slow down. So the 28 may be sitting in the best spot.
Yeah, and that's exactly it is. You never know if and when or where those things are going to happen. And so, yeah, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. But here we go. Third lane's coming. Dude, Conrad, Dean Wilkinson. They're going to try to make a charge. I just saw, I believe that is Seth and joining the party there as well. As a little bit of a stack up there towards the middle there. But again, everybody able to recover. But this is where things start to get a little dicey here. And I think right now, if I'm these guys on the inside line, I like where I am. Because, again, you've got that yellow line to kind of protect you. As long as you stay low enough, of course. But here we go, 3 wide as you got now the 48 joining the party there in front of the 8 there. Oh, 4
yeah,
wide. Nope. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, not out of the woods just yet. 55's got to be careful there. Very good driving there by Dean. But I'm a little bit opposite of you there, Gael. I don't like that yellow line being down there. And the only reason is we've seen it, that apron. It can catch you. And if the guy gives you one bad push as you hit that bump, it's not too hard to get down there. So I was always a fan of more of the outside where I know I got the wall. If I make a mistake, I'll just get up against the wall and not do any damage. But we got 15 to go, Gaio. We got some people watching on the YouTube. Drop the drivers below that you think's gonna pull off the first win here in our first playoff race.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to see who's able to make something happen. Look at Seth here; he's working his way in. And like I said, I was curious to see what does Patrick do. And Patrick right now, he's kind of still doing what I think he should be doing. That's playing it safe right now. But Seth's trying to move forward because, again, this is what he's got to do. He's in the playoffs, and he's starting to get the help. I see Mike Allen. He's starting to try to creep back in the mix here. But right now, that third lane, it needs numbers. And right now, Seth is still now pinned to that third lane. So we've seen that outside lane work before. So you can see, there you go. Mike is right on the bumper of that number 32. As we head back into one, like you said, we're getting down to the final stages here. 14 to go at the line. Oh, man, these guys are getting tight.
Yeah, and these guys are running really, really, really tough. And we got it's not 4 to go, it's 14 to go. But these guys understand it's the playoffs. We spoke about it earlier. That trophy that Frank brings to the table, it's a beautiful one. These guys, some of them would wreck their mom for it. No disrespect to the moms that watch, but I think you would get wrecked for this trophy that Frank brings. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself getting wrecked for it. You gotta be careful on Easter though to be threatening to wreck your mom for a championship or for a trophy, I should say, because I know there's a couple moms poking in on the YouTube chat with Caitlin and Karen. So I would never do that too. I would never wreck you guys for a trophy. But no, it's obviously all in good fun. But no, you're right though, and there's something to be said about. I mean, there's obviously those big money races, and I say it's always fun to win money, but I don't know. There's that little personal touch of a customized trophy that Frank's been able to bring to the mix, and yeah, I think those are always the most exciting ones for me because it's not something that you can just get, and so yeah, big shout out to Frank for putting that on for these drivers here.
Yeah, and it's something that you can put on your wall or put on a shelf, and it's just it's decoration, it's something cool, and it's not, like you said, it's not just something given. You earned it, and not only did you earn it, you earned it against some really, really great, top of the line drivers, and if you can beat these guys, it means that you're pretty good at what you do. So as men, we compete. That's what we do, and if there's a trophy, involved, it just amps up the stakes just that much more.
Yeah, so we just can't find a way to get away from our competitive nature. But no, right now though, I gotta say I've been impressed with Todd Merkel and Kevin Hash. They've been staying very well together on that inside lane. Eric Laurie and the 21 of Jacob Lee probably feeling a little bit stuck right now because again they've just got everybody to their outside. But then also you mentioned the Roswell guys. You got Ryan Decker, you got Bud Steele. They're locked on nicely together. So like I mentioned, right now there's not a lot of organization on the team side of things. Nobody's like kind of nose to tail all the way through. But you can see drivers starting to move around a little bit, saying, all right, I need to try to find a way to get to that second lane, maybe the third lane. As I say that, here we go. We're going to go 4 wide, potentially here into 1.
Yep.
Back to
Nobody's
3.
saving. Yep. Nobody's saving fuel, Gael. I don't think anybody in their right mind is saving fuel anymore. They completely got the green light from their crew chief, spotter, or black box, and these guys have got it 100% full throttle. And speaking of good-looking race cars, before we have the big one, if it does come, can we get a little bit closer on that 88? It's got some pink in there. It's a really beautiful race car, and man, the Guinness scheme just with the 88, I don't know, they just go smooth, and man, that's a good-looking race car.
Yeah, so Gabe's always got some fun stuff, and yeah, he does little touches of saying, say on that one, there's definitely plenty of pink, and that's for Jeannie. Say obviously we all still think about her all the time, but yeah, no, say if there's gonna be Guinness on it one way or the other, and he's also got some sponsorship on the hood there, that is gonna be again one of our upcoming sponsors as well. So I'll say, well, once we get all the formalities out of the way, I say we're going to be doing some nice announcements, because as we've got some sponsorships, some very generous people to kind of help out the league. I'll say on top of the generosity that we've seen from some of these other guys. So yeah, it's really cool to see. Obviously, we've had great love from Ranger Creative Concepts, Whiplash Sim Cams, 40 Raceware, and of course Ranger Creative Concepts. We had Sensi for a while with Kaylin. I say that one's changing a little bit too. So maybe we'll see if we can get some free chicken or something like that from Decker Fried Chicken. So we'll see what we can pull off for ourselves as well here, Brandon.
Yeah, fried chicken or a sandwich, something, man. I'm starting to get nervous, Gael. These guys are, I mean, literally, they got to be under a half second from front to the back, man. These guys are 3-4 wide, and over these bumps we got one sideways. He saves it. What a save!
Will we get through? Oh, we got more contact. Oh, no, we're going to have big trouble here down the back. Caution is out. And, Mike Allen, one of those involved. And I think I saw, 53. Big damage to his car. Joshua Highbaugh, I think, maybe got a piece too. So, 53, that's going to be a fast pair. You can see that thing just completely smoking out here. And, yeah, they had it saved. Just couldn't quite finish. I think he still has one, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So, let's go back, though. We'll watch where this all kind of occurred. And it was, like I said, it was right towards the very front of this pack here. We'll get a better look. We'll back it up a teeny bit here. And it honestly, I'll say we haven't talked about it lately, but possibly a little bit of net code here. Yeah, I'm going to say actually they didn't make contact. That's unfortunate, just some net code there. And then you're right, though. I mean, look at the reactions. Look at Dean. He's able to just sneak underneath there. You see the 13, he's trying to get as high as he can to avoid it. But then unfortunately, just the 101 at that point, he's just trying to catch that car, and there's just nothing he can do there. And then you see, actually, I'm looking at Gabe. Gabe maybe gets a little bit on the front end of his car. And then, yeah, just the three of them all come together here, and that's just going to send them right down to the infield. So, but look who's right behind all this. Stays clean here. That's the 54, Patrick Groover. That should put him back on the lead lap. And the other driver that's a big savior for was half a lap down. Nick Wing put him right back into the mix here. So let's jump back live, though, because now we've got decisions to make here, Brandon. Again, we're good to go to fuel on the scheduled distance, but maybe not the green-white checkered here. What are we thinking? Do we want to have the track position to maybe get a scheduled finish, or do you want the extra fuel in case we go long?
I'm coming to pit road not only because I believe there's going to be another caution. I believe it. I honestly do. But I want to be in the back when that caution comes. As we see some of these guys ride in the apron, so they know it's close. I just come in. We've seen these guys get from the back. Bud Steele almost did it by himself. I come in and get a couple extra laps of fuel and even some fresh tires even.
Yeah, so not a lot of takers. A lot of them that are pitting are for damage. You see Gabe Butler, he's got some nose damage we just talked about in that incident. Joshua Highbaugh, of course, he got a piece of that one. 53 is going to need a fast repair. And then I think Dude Connor, he's probably just come in to stay with Gabe. And then Robert Amaral and then Nick Wing, of course, like I said. For Nick, yeah, same thing, just get the spot back. There goes Patrick Groover. He's going to get his lap back. But so what we're going to do is before we get to the dash here to the finish, we got to show off the reason why we have these awesome cameras, and that is because of Whiplash Sim Cam. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, lights are off of the pace car here, Brandon, and we're going to restart this thing with 5 to go. So we're still outside that green-white checker territory, but like you had mentioned, a lot of drivers opting to stay out. The top 10 did not pit, and then you've got Nick Wing on back that opted to go ahead and pit there for tires, for fuel, probably for a fast repair if they had them. So we'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, like I mentioned, Patrick Gruber getting his lap back. So the one that's in a tough spot right now, you mentioned wondering if he had a fast repair left, and there's your answer. 53 did not, because that car is still a modified, so unfortunately he is out of the running. So that's going to leave us 17 drivers vying for the win of this race. We'll see if fuel comes into effect, or let's say we got some teammates that are finally starting to try to find a way to get together. I see the 8 and the 88 together, of course the 32 and the 54, but we've got other drivers going to try to get locked on here. So we'll see what we have here, what we can get done in these final 5 laps as we get to that restart zone. It's Kevin Hash going to lead the way right next to Ryan Decker, Todd Merkel, Bud Steele. We head back into one.
Yeah, very good start there on the outside by Roswell. You could really see the 6 start to close up to the 48, and you see him there give him just a nice little push. We've really seen that outside line really get going good tonight, and 5 to go. It's going to take about a lap to get these cars fully up to speed, but then once we do, I would assume we see 3 wide as we see that the group of points leaders as coming in before everybody's on the same thing, but coming into the race, the group of points leaders, they're back there and they're forming up together.
Yep, I say you see Jack Walls, he's going to jump up there as well, because hey, if you can push me, I'll take that too. So, but now this is, again, we talked about those drivers that if you give the opening on the inside line, someone's going to take it. So this is where you got to be very, very careful here. If you slip up, if you drift up a lane, someone's going to try to fill that gap. So this is where it starts to get a little bit more dangerous. They're going to start to push a little bit harder, draft a little tighter. As you saw right there, I think Seth tried to make a move, couldn't find a hole. Look at Jacob Lee. He saw the momentum going to the outside. He's going to try to lead that second lane, third lane. No, they stayed. And like, oh, we got big trouble in the back here. That's everybody.
The big one. Holy moly.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the big one. And then some. Of the leaders, Ryan Decker, the only one through that one, but we're going to have number of toes, and oh man, that's Jack Walls. Oof, you see right there, Jack's got no right front, so unfortunately Patrick had to do a bit of off-roading there. Gabe Butler's got motor damage. Yeah, we got a lot of trouble here, so we'll go back, we'll take a look at this, Brandon, but that was massive, unfortunately. So let's go back here. Let's see if I can find where this all occurred.
The secret recipe saved the 48.
Yeah, you might be right. So, but let's watch here as we get to the entry, and I'm already seeing Jacob Lee getting loose on the entry before he even gets there. So I find actually, okay, does he? Oh yeah, here you go. So you see Jacob, he's in the 3rd lane here, and then he's trying to make his way back to the 2nd lane, and at that point I'm wondering, I think Frank Ranger's already there. And that's what we talked about, these guys. I mean, and that's inches apart there. I mean, that's just, you got to go for those, I feel like, in this situation. But then, yeah, then from here, it's just everybody. I mean, like I said, I mean, not an exaggeration. I mean, we've got the field in this thing. There's a couple that maybe sneak by, minimal damage. We're going to watch from Eric Laurie's point of view, because you see that John Deere car. He's just peeking through there. We're going to watch. No, Seth's got some nose damage as well. So we're going to have very minimal cars. Almost getting through was the 77. Ray Rittenauer, he's got nose damage. I mean, I think there's maybe 2 cars that get through this here, Brandon, and we're going to jump on board with one of them, and we're going to do it terrifyingly at speed. Let's hop on board here with Eric Laurie.
Yeah, this is all going to happen very, very, oh, look how, I mean, just how fast that is. How did, woof. I don't know how he did it, Gael.
I don't know. I'm saying we're going to go one more time back, and this time we're going to look out the back and see what he sees out the back of this car entering the turn, because you're going to see just everything out behind him. I'm on the wrong car. Let's go back. That's his teammate, Gabe Butler. That makes more sense. Now we got Eric Laurie, so we'll watch here again. I mean, just look at the chaos behind him. I don't think anybody gets through this thing unscathed. So once again here, we're going to jump back live, because in all of this craziness, our new leader, Eric Laurie, and that's 071 car, and this will be now our green-white checkered territory. But now look at second place, Joshua Heibaugh. He's got damage. Dean Wilkinson, that car's looking pretty good. Let's see. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at Dean Wilkinson. Did Dean get through this? Because I'll say he's not one we caught during this whole process. So, and I don't know, Brandon. Dean may have taken a Brandon approach that I'm going to be in the back. And look at Dean already. He's already coming to a stop. He sees this coming. He's like, we're not getting through this. So he's going to drop anchor. We'll pick up speed full here. All he's going to see is smoke. And yeah, he's just waiting for, basically letting the banking do its job here. Saying, all right, let me watch everybody drop down the banking. You see all these cars just falling off the banking. And yeah, I mean, he goes from there probably what, almost 20th probably, to all the way now back up into third. So a great move by Dean to get through there. And then we talked about the fuel strategy. Ryan Decker, he had to pit road, so he had to give up the lead there. And that puts him now back into fourth position, which again, not a bad spot to be in. Didn't get involved in the incident, but yeah. So unfortunately, they lost a couple spots. So this is again going to shake up the running order. I'm looking at Ray Rittenauer. How's that car looking? That looks like all good. And look at this, Brandon. That right front fender of Bud Steele, it's fixed.
Oh, it's back. It's back. We've been keeping an eye on it all night, and you know, speaking of that 55, the 55 had to drive his butt off to get into the playoffs. We seen him run really, really good last week, just coming up just a hair short to Everett Lane. So once again, sitting there just being patient has paid off for the 55, even though we still got 3 laps to go, a lot of racing, but he's got a clean race car when a lot of guys around him have beat up race cars.
Yeah, no, exactly right. So obviously a lot of fast repairs there. There are, though, that said, a lot of lengthy pit stops as well. Robert Amaral's in there for 53 seconds, Seth for 52 seconds, Nick Wing 51. So Quabi's still trying there. He was in there for a minute, still no front clip. And Patrick Groover, you can see a little bit of nose damage still to his car. Let's say the problem for him is I don't think he's going to get to the field in time. Here's Jacob Lee as well. He's trying to hustle back up there as well. So a lot of these drivers just trying to get back here before we get to that 1 to green, or before we get back to green, I should say. Because right there, Patrick just crossed the start-finish line. Leaders are about to hit turn number 3 here. So got to give some love out to my boy Hondo Longmire. Hondo, miss you. Hope you're doing well, sir. I know that your hobbies have changed, but I'd love to see you back out on track at some point, if at all possible. All right, Brandon, so we're shaking it up again here, but the one thing that's a consistent, though, from that last restart, look at the 48 and the 6. They're lined up again, but this time they're not in the front row. So let's see what Bud and Ryan can do. What can Eric do in the inside lane? He's got not a teammate, but somebody he knows very well in Dean Wilkinson. Green-white checkered attempt number 1 here.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a big advantage for the 48. Is, well, one thing he's got to be patient of is he doesn't not understand that the 101 has damage. You got to be very patient. It's going to take him just a little bit longer to get up to speed. As we see, he's not waiting. He's jumping to the middle, and it's time to go. So,
and I think
big move there by the 48.
Yeah, I think that's also Joshua knowing, hey, I don't have the pace. I don't want to cause a wreck. So I think that's also just a huge amount of respect from that 101. So big props to him. What he needs to do now is just what he did. Drop down to the bottom, try to steal some draft, just hang on to that main pack. Because, again, if something happens on the white flag lap, if you're far enough away from the back of it, you could get through it and wind up winning this race or get in the top 5. So right now you see the 48 Ryan Decker just a nose ahead of Eric Laurie, but not enough to clear as they're going to head through 3 for potentially the final time. Or I should say, sorry, for the second and final time. But first, they, of course, like I said, they got to get to that white flag first. But now look at the surge. Eric Laurie got a great push out of 4 from Dean.
Yeah, Eric Laurie holding down that bottom line with Dean right there behind him. He's hungry for a win. 48 is in the same predicament. The 6 in this situation, not in the playoffs, so where he can help push a little bit more, and he doesn't have nothing to give. And then the 32 right behind him, he's been playing it safe all race since the early chaotic beginning, and here we go. He finds himself right back up here on the 3rd spot on the outside.
You gotta be careful. They're giving up that middle lane. That's what I was worried about right there. And there's all the cars getting involved. And that's why I said for those guys that were able to do something with it. So we'll see. Right now it's Ryan Decker leading, but there's Jacob Lee. That's not a position for the lead, though. It is going to be right now Ray Rittenauer is the next car for position that could win this race in the 87. He's got nose damage. There's Todd Merkel as well. But right now he's got some help from another teammate, and that is Jack Walls. You can see big moves going. Oh, we got contact up front, though, as they make the charge to the line. I think it's going to go to Ray Rittenauer at the end. Kind of craziness at the end because, like I said, there were drivers that were a lap down there fighting, and man, what a crazy finish there. So unfortunately, Ryan Decker does not get the win there. It's going to go to Ray Rittenauer. We'll go back, we'll take another look, and we'll also go look at the incident down the back. But what a chaotic finish there to bring the end of this race here. So let's go back one more time. We'll watch the contact out of turn number 3, or sorry, turn 2 down the back, if it lets me. Okay, it's not wanting to let me. So what we're gonna do real quick is we'll jump back live here. Let's get the official or unofficial results in this one, because yeah, I don't know what's going on here. If it also lets me. I think we might have some cars still maybe trying to finish their last laps potentially. So I still can't even pull up the final results here.
There's some read off what I got here just from being in the race, Gael, if you would like me to. This is via iRacing timing and scoring, of course.
Yeah. I think what it is, I think there may have been. I think we're still waiting for a couple drivers that maybe were a lap down to officially finish their last lap. Yeah, there we go. Now the final results are showing up. And so, yeah, indeed, it is going to be Ray Rittenauer getting the win there by about 400ths over Ryan Decker. Todd Merkel there will get a podium there in third. Eric Laurie, remember I talked about Robert Amaral having a chance to try to get something back. He gets in 5th spot. Joshua Highwell, he gave up that top spot or the front spot there because he knew he had damage, avoided the wreck, finishes in 6th. And then, unfortunately, those that got caught up in that late incident, Nick Wing there in 17, Wilkinson, Quavi Brooks, Seth Groover, and then Bud Steele, Patrick Groover, and Jack Walls are the final drivers on the lead lap there. Then, unfortunately, one down, you see Jacob Lee, and then those guys that last incident just knocked him out. The 88 of Gabe Butler, Frank Ranger Jr., Dude Conrad, and Kevin Hash. Unfortunately, very bad results that they were not hoping to get. And then you see also earlier retirements there for Mike Allen, Anthony Lane, and then Dale Rapp. So, all right. So now, Brandon, I said it's a lot to unpack here. Let's try to see if we can go back and get another run to the finish there, and as well as the incident there coming to the line, because there's, like I said, there's a lot that happened in that last little bit here.
I think some guys don't. I don't think everybody understood who was on the lead lap.
And so, yeah, so here's the initial part, Brandon. So, again, I said you're given too much room, and that's exactly what we saw there was the 48 and the 6. They needed to protect that middle more, and unfortunately, that let the 32 try to get underneath them. And so that sends the 32 down to 55 as well. You see Eric Laurie. He's able to save that car and get back after it. But then at this point, it's looking really good here if you're some of these guys. And so you see the 21 here. And again, he's a lap down to this point. I think maybe trying to get a lap back, or like I said, maybe not 100% sure where the lap situation was. But so he gets around the 48 car. But then again, the 48 now has a teammate there with Jack Walls. Jack's going to go ahead and give him some pushes to get him to the finish. So we'll pick it back up pace-wise here. But then as we get off of 4, you see they have a huge head of steam here. Ryan's going to go to the top here. The 21's going to protect. Like you said, it's almost a move where it looks like you're going to try to win the race here. But then this is where they try to get up top there, and the 48 catches the outside wall. And it's saying that at that point, you see Jack Walls. He's going to jump low, and Ray and Todd here, they see that reaction. And so Ray just says, okay, I got to go somewhere. And so he's able to just cut underneath, avoid the contact. And you see right here, he's going to cross the line ahead. And then there's Ryan Decker, Todd Merkel, and I say Ryan did get that spot over Todd barely, but yeah, just super chaotic there at the end, and with Ray Rittenauer getting the win there at the end.
Yeah, man, hard racing and emotions running high, and this is how rivals are made. We've talked about next season and I know we're still in this one, but this is how rivals are made, and a lot of people ain't gonna like how some drivers maybe ran them tonight, and that's what builds character into your league, and I think we'll know a lot more by the time these interviews are over.
Yeah, so this is the interviews that I'm always a little nervous about because yeah, they things get a little bit crazy. So but we still got to talk to some drivers, and so I think you've already got our third place runner queued up here, and that is going to be that number 2 of Todd Merkel. And Todd had a pretty good view of the craziness at the end there, but Todd, it was, I mean, you started fourth, you finished third, but I feel like it probably felt everything but that tonight because there was a lot happening this evening.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a wild one there in the closing few laps. But yeah, I'm not even quite sure what happened. You know, I'm by myself with no teammates, so I didn't have anybody to tell me what was going on. I just saw lots of smoke and cars everywhere.
Yeah, it was definitely exciting, and everybody talk is going to be about the finish, but we had a lot of great racing, and we seen for most of the time a lot of clean 3-4 wide racing. How was that at the beginning, and then most of the race there? You've seen everybody just running so clean. What was it like? It looked like a lot of fun.
It is an absolute blast. I had a wonderful time tonight. I don't get to make every one of these Sunday night shows, but whenever I can, I like to come out and race. And something I've really noticed is particularly at this track, the fuel is tricky. We were all really tight on fuel at the end there. But I find that like the engine heat management is even more important when you're giving somebody a push. You got to save some temperature for when you really need to lean on them.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I mean, we talk about that week in, week out where yeah, you got to manage the temps because you can try to lock on for as long as you can, but yeah, at some point the motor's going to give and it's not going to happen. But yeah, like I mean, there was a lot going on. We had the green flag pit stop cycle, and then the huge one there on that last prior to that last restart. I'd say pretty much nobody got through unscathed, but I'll say it. So it looked like you were able to kind of keep that fast repair in your back pocket and then able to use it to good use at the end. Is that one of those deals where that's why you try to keep that thing clean from start to finish to save it for the very end in case of, and just try to maybe manage if you had damage earlier in the race? Or how do you kind of make that decision on the fast repair side of things?
Oh, I do everything I can to hang on to that fast repair until the until that last caution, which as soon as you know it's going to be a green white checkered, then yeah, I want to come out with fresh sheet metal. Then that's for sure.
Well, I'll say you made the strategy to perfection there. Like I said, able to grab a podium with kind of the craziness at the end. But a great result for you, like I said, up front and battling all night long. So, of course, as always, Todd, definitely got to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts for that podium this evening.
Oh, as always, I want to thank Merkel Racing Engines, which is my family engine building company. Without those guys, I wouldn't have any money for this rig. We do all the engines in the real race cars, and I use the Ross pistons and the Liberty's gears and driven oil on all the real race car stuff too. So, and I also, of course, want to appreciate you, Gael and Brandon. You guys do a fantastic job on these broadcasts. Always a pleasure to watch and an absolute pleasure to be back in the booth with you guys for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it's always good to have you back, Todd. I know, obviously, you were definitely a regular when we were doing the normal oval stuff. Unfortunately, I say we've kind of gone away from that a little bit, but I say when I saw your comeback, super excited because I always enjoyed being able to race with you when I could, and then of course call some races with you as well. But yeah, great job tonight, Todd. Looking forward to chatting with you again some more over the course of the season. But great job this evening, man, and go enjoy this one.
Will do. Thanks so much. Have a great night.
All right, that is Todd Merkel there in that number 2. These are tough ones to do the interviews on, Brandon, because these are going to be those interviews where you hope everything goes well, but yeah, it's just one of those tough spots. As I said, I'm sure there's plenty on your mind, Ryan. Everything was looking great. The caution that brought out the last yellow there. I mean, we're talking about that. You were pretty much the only one, I think, other than Dean on kind of the polar sides of the track there to get through that last wreck unscathed. and then yeah, you got Bud locked onto you guys, and I feel like the only issue there at the end, and something that Brad and I were looking at, was it's you got to be so aggressive to try to protect that second lane, and we saw that Seth was able to just peek in there underneath. That caught Bud out, and then it kind of cost you a little bit of momentum with getting some help, and then you do wind up getting Jack, and then just obviously the fight out of 4 to try to get the win and just the contact. But I mean, we'll start with the race overall. Take us through it. You surprised Caitlin with the paint scheme. I'll say she got a good laugh out of that. But yeah, so we'll start with that. I'll say let's start with how the race went and the strategies from tonight, because you definitely had some up and downs.
Well, I mean, first of all, I'd like to, say our thoughts and prayers are with your dad right now and everything he's going through, man. And then I'm glad Caitlin got a laugh out of the paint scheme, and thank Bud for making it like real quick for me. That happened like Thursday's race. I think Nick said something about like Decker fried chicken. I was like, well, there's a paint scheme coming out of that. But I mean, listen, this race would have been perfectly fine if it wasn't for one freaking person, and I think we all know at 21 of Jacob Lee. I mean, that was absolutely ridiculous. He's a lap down and blocking the leaders. Absolutely ridiculous. How idiotic that is. I mean, you ain't even racing for a win or nothing. You're racing to stay on the freaking last lap, on the lead lap there. That was absolutely stupid. I mean, whenever you name your team after yourself, that says it all right there. That absolutely says it all. And a freaking race like that, I mean, I've raced him professionally, as best as I can, and everybody else in this thing league. But whenever somebody blocks you, that's a lap down, freaking coming out of 4 for a win with a freaking teammate behind me, that was absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, I got to thank my team, for helping me, and everybody else who kept this race pretty clean itself. I mean, being a lap down and blocking runs and everything else like that. I mean, just get the heck out of the way. It's absolutely ridiculous and idiotic.
Yeah, I know that can be tough in the situation that you're in right now, but I ain't gonna touch on it too much. I said, stuff like this builds character in the league, and and when you need help as much as you do in this, hopefully you guys can figure that out. But we brought it up with Todd, the 3 and the 4 wide race, and it was amazing. You guys were up there making some insane moves at the very beginning for the first 20 laps. As I asked Todd, how much fun was that? Because it looked like you guys could do in these cars whatever you wanted to and whenever you wanted to. So how much fun really was that?
It was a lot of fun. I mean, that top lane and that middle lane was the 2 lanes to be in. That bottom lane just kind of stuck, was like stuck in the mud there. So I told Bud early on, I was like, whenever we get to the end of this race, I want to be in the middle or top side, one of the two, and then we'll go from there and see if we can't get a win. But it was pretty fun going, 3 wide, 4 wide, and everything. I mean, just wish people wouldn't stick their nose where they don't need to be sticking it, and kind of take it easy and understand who they are and where they are on the track, and I mean, if you're lap down, be careful. Don't ruin everybody else's night just because you're mad because you're a lap down.
Yeah, no, I said these are those ones like, yeah, they're hard to. This would be obviously not a fun interview to give, but like I said, I mean, if there's any silver lining you can take, I mean, it's still an amazing result for you to get the runner up. Obviously, a lot of drivers had a tough night this evening, so there's still 3 to go. I mean, is this now one of those ones where kind of sleep it off and then just kind of look forward after tonight, or I mean, how do you go about that at this point?
Oh yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So it's next week. I mean, we'll attack next week, and hopefully, we won't have any dumb mistakes and have any dumb, people go crazy and just lose their mind. So hopefully, just keep it nice and smooth, and don't race everybody like idiots, and be next week. There's always next week, man. Always next week.
All right, man.
Hey, Ryan, well, you got second still. Still be happy. You got second in the playoffs. You're in second,
Yeah, but I mean, listen, you know how hard wins are to come by around here. I mean, you really want that win, so I mean, that's what pisses me off the most.
Yeah, I hear you, man. Like I said, I mean, yeah, it is still a great result, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of those situations. But I'll say I'm working Caitlin over, see if she can get you some of the Decker fried chicken. So maybe we'll get something going there to help you out. But yeah, like I said, man, it's a tough result, but still a good result on the grand scheme of things. But yeah, so that's the some of the times with we talked about earlier with the competitive side of sim racing. Sometimes things do get heated and all that. So, but man, a great run tonight. I know you already gave a little bit of love to the teammates, but of course, got to give you the time for thanks and shouts for that runner up tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Bud, Jack, Nick, and Quavi for running with us. Glad to see him in here. Jim, hope everything gets better with you, and hopefully you get in here by Thursday or next Sunday or something like that, bud. Thinking about you. I'd like to thank y'all guys for the broadcast and everything. I mean, y'all do an amazing job. 4D Racewear, Whiplash Sim Cams, Frank Ranger's Creative Customs. Anyways, Area 51, Green White Checkered Broadcasting, all the admins and everything. I'd like to thank, everybody racing. As far as we kept it pretty good for the most of the thing. And congrats on the win, Ray. And I'd like to thank Jacob Lee for, making sure he blocked it and made sure I didn't get the win and got second.
All right, Ryan. I'm sorry again, bud, but look forward to seeing the rest of the way, sir.
All right, see y'all.
Yeah, Ryan, we knew that was going to be a tough one, unfortunately, but then we got to jump one spot forward, and that is going to be this guy who there was a lot going on that last lap, Ray. Obviously, a lot happened with the caution that brought to that green-white checkered. Unfortunately, I'll say your teammate got the worst of it there, but you're able to kind of stay in the thick of things. And yeah, it's one of those ones where obviously someone's bad luck turns into your good luck. And obviously you still had to do some avoiding action out of 4 to get to that spot. But I mean, take us through the fight there at the end. Obviously, we saw the contact down the back, just again with having to be careful with kind of opening up a middle lane or even the bottom lane at times at this track. I mean, how tough is it for you in these situations if you're leading the bottom lane, the middle lane, to know like how tight to squeeze that car to make sure that they can't put a move on you to get you out of position?
Yeah, it's tough. Bottom lane, I was pretty steady at, but when I got up to the middle or the high lane, it was rough to gauge where you were at or how close you were to the inside line. But it seemed like the outside had the momentum the whole race. You could get going on the inside, but it died out. But yeah, I don't know what happened there at the end. But I feel bad for Ryan there. I'll take it though.
Yeah, heck of a job tonight. When you see races go like this, and with it being the playoffs and it being iRacing Speedway and all the chaotic stuff that can come with it, how'd you stay patient tonight and really understand when, hey, this is I gotta go, or when I don't have to go, to be able to finish, and get the win?
It was either go or go to the back. I had a little bit of damage there in the middle of the race. I didn't get it fixed till right before the green white checkers there. But yeah, like the last lap, I accepted my fate on the low line. I was going to try to push the bottom line so Eric could get out front, and then unfortunately, all heck broke loose. But fortunately for me.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing is, yeah, I mean, you got the guys you know well and you want to work with, and so yeah, so it's like you see Eric's like, okay, well, yeah, if I can get Eric a good result, that'd be awesome, and then we saw the contact obviously down the backstretch that unfortunately collects him and Dean and then Seth as well, so that opens the door up for you, like I said, and then what happened out of 4, so. But that's unfortunately part of play racing is just you don't know from lap to lap how things are gonna shake out or what's gonna be the right place and all that. We saw you and Kevin were working extremely well together, and so yeah. I mean, it's only a 4-race playoff, so you got to try to get everything you can in these 4 races. So obviously tonight getting the win, that gives you that 5-point cushion now going into those last 3, and I feel like here and Atlanta are kind of my biggest wild card races just because of how differently they race. I mean, is that something you look at too, where it's like, okay, I got through one that's going to be a really difficult one, or are all of them kind of just equally kind of just a crapshoot, honestly, at times?
Yeah, it's been up and down, but I feel like you said, iRacing, Superspeedway, Atlanta. Those are the two wild cards out of all of them.
Well, I say you got job done here tonight. Like I said, unfortunately, it didn't work out so well for Kevin, but obviously still plenty of time to go on these ones. So Ray, as always, as we're watching you, unfortunately, get a little bit of a piece of it, but then you obviously get to the finish there at the end. But of course, always got to give you the floor here, sir, for any thanks and shouts for that win this evening.
Yeah, I thank my sponsor, Lucky Dogs. Teammate Kevin, unfortunately, he didn't make it to the finish line, but he did give me some words of wisdom to try to win tonight, and luckily I came out ahead. And got to give a shout out to you guys for putting on a great broadcast.
All right, well, we appreciate that, sir. So congrats again on the win. Look forward to seeing you the rest of the way, though. And yeah, I say good luck in these last 3 races.
All right, thanks.
All right, Brandon, that is our race winner in the 87 of Ray Rittenauer. And again, it's such a tough situation here. Like I said, this is never how you want things to go. And I mean, I've said it time and time again, where it's like I kind of try to treat this as one of those things where it's a way to get away from reality. Everybody's going through things in the real life and all that. So like, you try to use this as a way to kind of get away from that. And it's people you race with week in, week out. So you want to try to build that relationship, the camaraderie. And so, but like we talked about at the beginning, I mean, the playoffs just kicked off. Everything's going to get ramped up a little bit. Emotions will get picked up, and maybe there's something at some point we didn't see. There's obviously a lot of stuff that can and probably did happen. And so it's a tough one, I say, especially for me, kind of being so just close to the league and all the drivers and everything. It's a tough spot to be in, and say it's definitely one you never want to have to see or run into at times.
Yeah, and really, it's there's one word to describe it. It's racing. People, the greatest drivers make mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes. It builds character. And one thing about I don't think Ryan did anything intentional or wanted to do that. Or I think there was really, if he was a lap down, he's not knowing that it's the white flag. I mean, there's so much that's going on when you're racing, you're in the playoffs. There's so much that's going through your head. So it's racing, and when it comes back to it, Ryan's not going to intentionally wreck him or do anything like that. There's other ways that you can hurt drivers without wrecking them, especially in super speedway racing, especially when we pit a lot under green, or you just know next time that, he's not going to push me, or his teammates aren't going to push me. So that sometimes can hurt you way more in the long run, or these guys will probably, talk it over and get right back to racing. So it builds character, and I love it. It's racing.
So we can be the polar opposites on that one, where it's like you're all for it. I'm one of those ones where I'm definitely a conflict avoider. That's just how I've always been. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean that is the things like this do happen in racing. I mean, for those that have seen it or watched videos of it, saying Bowman Gray is kind of notorious for that kind of stuff. Where I mean, I think just this last race, there's drivers that got mad at each other under yellow, and they got out, and cops had to break them up, and it's just craziness. So, so I'd say that's definitely a wild way to start off the playoffs here tonight, Brandon. But it will be Ray Rittenauer getting the win over Ryan Decker and Todd Merkel. And again, I mean, there are some amazing recovery drives. I mean, the one that stands out to me, we talked about Joshua Heibaugh, finishes 6th. He had that outside front row, but he knew he had the damage and said, you know what, I'm going to cost him if I stay up there or try to force my way up there. So he dropped back and went ahead and fell to the back there and gained a handful of spots. He winds up in the 6th position. So again, great job by him getting as many points as he could just from some strategy there at the end with the damage. So I got to definitely shout out to him there as well. So yeah, wild way to start off the playoffs. Will be off on Tuesday night for the IR18 Oval Series. The season finale will be in next Tuesday. But Brandon, you and I will be back here one more time here, this time with the trucks Thursday night. We'll see if the things are as wild as they were tonight.
Yeah, and I think as much as the chaos has happened, we got guys up front that we got some of the leaders in the back, and the guys that's normally in the middle up front. We got it's made this playoffs that much more intense, and it's gonna hype up next week even more. Where you make a mistake, it could be costly.
Yeah, no, and that's exactly right. And actually, I lie. We did already do iRacing Superspeedway last week with Jack Walls getting the win over there in the truck. So we'll actually be at Daytona on Thursday night to kick off the second race of the playoffs over there, and then of course we'll be back there at Daytona here in 1 week's time. So, Brandon, as always, man, it's a pleasure doing these with you. And as always, definitely a big thanks and shout out to everybody that watches and supports us here at Green White Checker TV. And like some of the drivers mentioned, definitely all of my love going to my dad. Like I said, not having the best of times, but like I said, he's a stubborn old man. He's gonna stay after it. So looking forward to him getting back to 100% and get back home and be able to hop back in that sim rig as well. So everybody that watches, as always, though, please take care, stay safe, have a good night.